And we're back. Welcome to another episode of the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, shout out to everyone that's tapped in this week for another show. As always, I'm Meah Evans, here with the one and only, the amazing, the incomparable. I love doing this.
JD Rivers.
Listen, Ace Harris, my co-host, is in the building. Ace, what's new, man?
What's up, sis? How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I feel like we've been really, we've been holding down even the solo episodes we've been doing, but like our guests have been like just really.
They've been killing it.
For real.
We just sitting back and let them. But speaking of guests, why don't you kind of segue and introduce the amazing person we got over here?
He's been someone who's been really killing it. With the Christian club scene. It's very, very new, but like the success has been flowing in, and we had to have him here, y'all. We got JD Rivers on the 116 Life this week. JD, how you feeling, man?
Man, I feel good. You know, it's a great day. I'm just flowing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So there's so much that's been happening just for you, but we just want to ask you, like, you know, how's life been treating you? You know, how you've been balancing everything that's been going on? Just talk to us where you're at currently in this chapter of your life.
Well, I mean, first of all, God is great, obviously, and I'm just thankful to even have made it this far, you know, because when I think about my life like 2 years ago, it was completely different. So just, you know, knowing what a year can do, committing to Christ, like fully in what He's called you to do, like can open up, you know, so many doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, how different are you now than where you were 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I lost my job in the beginning of May 2022, and I was like, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and you know, I moved in with her for a second, but then I moved out because I was like, it was conflicting with my relationship with Jesus. Like I didn't want to be, you know, having sex basically with her. So I had to move out, and I was living in hotels for like 3 months. But the cool thing was I had a severance for my job, so I was able to get paid while, you know, not working. You know, so I was able to supply, you know, my living with the hotels, and in that time I just took like the most time I've ever took with Jesus, and just really just, you know, got in the Word and just try to figure out like what my calling is, you know.
That's real. I appreciate you even sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, because I was diving into your Instagram, and I gotta ask you about this. So were you recently like feeding tigers or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you gotta talk about that, because one, you seem very close. I'm on Instagram, and I'm seeing you throwing this meat to this tiger, and somebody ain't gonna hold you. That tiger looked as close as you are to me. And I was like, I know I've seen Daniel in the Lion's Den, but this is something like I've never seen. So I need you to explain that, man. Like, how did you get that opportunity? Like, were you scared? Like, kind of, you gotta walk us through that whole situation.
So to be 100, that was before Christ. So like that was in 2020. That video. So it was good promo. You know what I'm saying? Like I just always had the video. I never really used it. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't believe me when I say I fed a tiger. So
were you
like
scared?
You know, no, I only wasn't scared because right before I did it, I just saw someone feed the tiger.
Where were you at?
I was at a zoo. My friend, he basically was working to own the zoo. So I was working at the zoo with him. So we would go up there like every day.
I'm trying to think of a world where seeing someone else feed a tiger would give me the faith to want to feed a tiger. I mean, that doesn't really that view doesn't really lead me there. I mean,
I just worked off of his faith.
Man, faith is contagious.
That faith got me scared, but that's super. That ain't faith. But now you're walking with a certain level of fearlessness that's even not limited to you know being crazy feeding tigers, but literally feeding people and sharing the gospel. Talk about that just a little bit about you know what you're into now. That 2 years off. And you in Atlanta, like, what's different about your mind shift now from like 2022 to 2024 at JD Rivers?
I see things like from like the top down, you know.
Okay.
A lot of people look, you know, bottom like up, but like I like start with the top and then look down, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense. Okay. So can you explain some more what's the benefit of looking top up? The top down versus the other way, and like so people can kind of hear what that really means, you know.
Got you. So like, so when you look top down, or you see yourself here, you know, and look and then see how like organizations and things are set up from the top down. You're not placing yourself in a box, and you're placing yourself on an even playing field as like a company or a person that you look up to.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like, cause technically we don't look up to anybody.
Sure.
You know, except Christ.
Except Christ. Yeah.
So when we put that, when we get that realization, it just allows for more possibilities to happen and you to think more abstract. You know what I mean?
That's good.
So that's like where I was able to understand like my formula and how to, you know, start the Christian club. So
super dope.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about the Ark, bro. What even inspired you to even want to start a Christian club like the Ark? So
really, I came from the club scene in Atlanta. So I used to host parties and DJ, and I did that and promote. I did that for like 4 years. Okay. So I was 23. And I had a job at Comcast. I got that job when I was 21. So my job at Comcast was in this department called Xfinity Communities. And basically, in the department, I was like a sales relationship management like person. So I would have like a portfolio of properties. I would go around to these properties, make relationships, and then we would throw parties just to keep the relationship.
Yeah.
So they can keep buying Comcast. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, you know, give them cookies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Give cookies, and you know, you guys give us dollars.
Exactly.
Great exchange.
Exactly. So I got really good at that, and what I realized at the parties is like I was always like I didn't know what the position was, but I was always like a host without being a host because I had to like be a personality at the parties so that they would be cool. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So I never really was like really all businessy and weird. You know what I'm saying? I always just was cool.
Lively and fun.
Yeah. Exactly. And I really liked it.
Yeah.
So we had this one party at the Brave Stadium, and that was part of my contract or my properties or whatever the case is. And I met this guy, and he was doing silent parties with headphones. You ever heard of that? Like,
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've been to. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, the guy was like, oh, what do you do? I was like, well, I work, you know, with Comcast. What you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I want to work with y'all. Like, how can I do that? You know? So he was like, you ready? And I was like, yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? So so we had a little interview, and I talked to him, and he put me on. The first project he put me on was at the Hawks Arena. Okay. So the first time me doing like an event, you know, like party, was at the Hawks Arena. You know,
not a bad start.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Not bad, you know?
Yeah. It was pretty cool. So so I had to hire DJs for it, and I didn't really know any DJs. So I just was asking my friends, like asking around, like who can I get the DJ? And the DJs I ended up being like some like really lit DJs in Atlanta, you know? So the first DJ, his name was Dos Diaz. He actually, he's a producer, and he does some stuff for like Summer Walker and like, you know, like people like that.
Yeah, for sure.
LVRN. And then this other guy, his name's DJ Creations, and we started being really close as friends. And after he saw that I could get him booked, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, can you manage me? You know, I was like, oh, all right. I mean, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And I had done it before a little bit when I was early 21. Like I knew a guy that rapped, you know, around me. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those situations.
Homie manager.
Homie manager.
Yeah, I get it. We all had a few of those, you know what I'm saying?
But he was smart though. He taught me a lot. And he was a little different. Like he definitely taught me a lot. But anyway, so got with DJ Creations. We made a plan to like really just like run through the city of Atlanta, and when we did it, part of me managing him, I didn't want to look weird in the club scenes, like so, like you know how sometimes managers be like sitting on the side and be like, yo, like you know I'm his manager, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not. That's not me.
I feel that,
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, what can I do? And he was like, yo, why don't you host for me? And I was like, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, you can talk on the mic. I was like, all right. I mean, I guess so. You know what I'm saying? So I started hosting it, and then I started getting booked outside of him myself.
Oh, wow.
So I was managing him and getting booked for hosting at the same time. So, you know what I mean? And that just kind of like took me through a series of events and ended up doing like stripper parties and like, I was outside every day of the week, Tuesday through Sunday, day parties, night parties, after hours, you know, everything. So it was crazy.
And so I'm sure it wasn't like, you know, stripper parties to the Ark. So what was that gap look like to where you was like doing things differently, or like what prompted you to kind of get there?
So basically, like at the end of November 2021, that was my last like club party. And in that time, like that past year, I was just going through a lot of different changes. Like the girl that I was with at the time, like I really didn't even want to be in the club scene, but I was feeling pressure because I wasn't making as much money when I stopped. I stopped for a brief stint in that time.
Sure.
So I started getting pressure from her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we can't, you know, go X, Y, and Z. I'm like,
get back, go to them clubs, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta get back.
You gotta pay this rent.
So it was wild though, because I was like, yo, I really don't want to do this.
You were feeling a part of you feeling like it wasn't
a pull. Yeah, I was feeling a pull.
That's dope. I mean,
and that's when I first felt like Christ was calling me, but I didn't know what to really call it. I was just trying to figure it out. For sure. You know, so I did that, and by November 2021, like that was like I was working at this spot. And it was cool, but I just kept feeling empty. And then I fell asleep one night, and the guy that was my manager, he was like, "Oh, don't come back." I was like, "All right." So I took that as a sign, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not going back." So then I thought about it some more, and I was like, "Okay, you know, I guess, you know, it's time for me to like really like be serious about my walk." You know, but I was a little hurt because I was like, dang, like, what did I do? Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so after that, 2022, I got serious and like really just committed to Christ. And that's when everything started happening. The hotel situation, all that, you know.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's, I mean, it's really remarkable to hear that because, I mean, you know, we talked about Atlanta a lot on this show, Meah, like Atlanta being like the modern day like hot spot for culture and media entertainment. And then I feel like the Christian worldview is like forever increasingly becoming less popular in mainstream culture. So to see someone like you who's like you was literally outside and investing in sowing into that culture to like feel a pull to be like, there's something greater. I think it speaks to the power of God, like his remarkable saving grace. Because like, I mean Atlanta's an entertainment camp. If you go to entertainment in Atlanta, you're not gonna be doing Christian entertainment.
No, not at all.
Those two don't even really go. Nah. It's just like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So I think we should love to hear more about the next segment, like your upbringing. I want to hear about like JD Rivers before all that, like how you kind of got to where you are now. So it's the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm here with Meah Evans, JD Rivers. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm here with Meah Evans and JD Rivers, hearing about his story with the Ark, coming to the faith. And we're talking offline. I don't mean this like for an interview question. I'm genuinely curious, like, how'd you grow up, like coming to faith, doing Christian entertainment? It just seems like, I think people like you are so fascinating to me to see how the Lord works in their heart, because like the allure of Atlanta and the club scene, bro, is like, that don't look fun. Like, why would you leave that for this? It almost seems very countercultural. Like, what is it about your upbringing that even preps you to be walking into this? You know what I'm saying? Or was there maybe nothing in your upbringing that led you here? Like, well,
I mean, like I grew up in a Christian household.
Okay.
My mother, like, you know, I was in church, like, you know, so we, I just, you know, she kept trying to, like, you know, of course you get people around you when you grow up in church that try to push the Christian, you know, the Christian rap on you, and like the stuff that, but
he goes to the crazy CD.
Right.
Shout out Craig. The laugh is too real. No, but I think these stories need to be told though.
Yeah.
But so I mean, but to be real, like it just wasn't. Even if it was good, it wasn't good to me at the time. You know what I'm saying?
So walk me through. What age are you? Where are you in Atlanta? What's the setting? What age?
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta. I went to school. I went to the elementary school in Alpharetta and Roswell.
Okay.
And then I went to middle school Roswell, high school Roswell.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So Roswell,
Greater Atlanta area.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of suburban.
Yeah.
Was it predominantly black, white, or what was the?
So my neighborhood was always black. My school was always white.
Y'all the black people that moved to the suburbs, like, yo, it's good over here.
Yeah, right.
But then, so talk about that up. So you said you grew up in church. Was it like mom and dad in the house attending church? Was it intentionally Christian, or was it cultural? What exactly was that look like to grow up in the church for you?
So like for me, my mom was a single mom, and I didn't have my dad in the house, like, which a lot of situations. But one of the worst things and the best things that come from those situations is if you have a mom that like is working hard and like really trying to get out there. There's no resource that we didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So there's always programs, there's always outlets. Like I was in summer camp every summer, you know, for free, all that, you know, because of like, she just really worked hard to find all those resources.
Amazing. Shout out,
you know
moms,
what I mean?
man.
Yeah, for real. So like, so I wasn't really lacking on that point. Of course, you know, there was times we didn't have money and like, you know, that kind of stuff, but we always had housing. We always had things to do because she was putting us in these programs, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or putting me in, you know, I had a little brother and sister. So, so growing up in that, neighborhood was always black, you know, like school was white, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, you know, just couldn't get away from it. But I played sports. So, going between sports and just being in church consistently, grandmother's in church, like all that, you know.
You had a praying grandmother.
Yeah, everything.
Gotcha.
So, but my mom was pretty good foundationally.
Sure.
And that's one thing that we just didn't skip. We always went to church. And then getting discipline from sports, you know, that was a big deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What sport did you play?
I played basketball and football.
Okay.
Yeah.
You played all through high school?
I played since I was 5 years old to my first year of college.
Okay, so you went to college.
Yeah.
So when you say you were in church, you guys attended, what was your relationship with Jesus, with the Lord, like say middle school, high school? Were you like called into it? Was it just something that you do? What was your like faith journey like in those times?
I always had conviction. Sure. I'm not gonna lie. Like I always had conviction. I didn't know how to deal with it because I wasn't confident in myself.
That's good.
But I always had conviction. Yeah.
I can relate to that. Sometimes you're like, you're in it. It's what you do. You know, like God is real. You know that there's a moral of righteousness. Yeah. But I feel like this is something that needs to be said too. And maybe you can relate. I don't know what it is about specifically black men in culture. We
just deviate. We're just like
the culture is not set up for you to really like walk with the
thrive
Lord.
in it.
It's not really. I mean, obviously, I don't want to say
now it is. Now it's
getting
be.
there.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not. Culture wants you to be cool, masculine, hip, whatever those things are, whatever term you want to use, whatever generation. But it's like if you're following God, well, that's lame.
Yeah.
Like it's not set up for black men to thrive who they are naturally.
Exactly.
And whatever, something about Christian culture, not the faith, because the faith is another thing.
No, the faith is great.
The culture of Christianity.
It was trash.
It doesn't really appeal to the very masculine black youth for real.
Yeah.
It's like, So I've seen like black girls who are maybe in that same setting have an easier walk or entry point.
Oh, for sure.
Into that culture. Yeah. Obviously, you know, talk about greater culture, white culture. But for some reason, black boys, it was like...
No, it's hard. It's hard.
Why was it hard for you? Like, what was the reason those things were so hard to like behold and to live out? And you said you didn't know how to walk it out. Why is it so hard?
Because like, I mean, your brain's still developing, like as a adolescent, you know, youth, like, you know, before middle school, all that. So when you're learning at home, like, hey, don't, you know, the 10 commandments, you know, don't steal, don't lie, don't, you know, all the basic things that we shouldn't do. And then when you go to school and, you know, you're saying, oh, like sticks and stones can break, you know, like, you know, but words can never hurt me. Like, that's a real thing. That's from God. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're saying that to a kid or like even trying to adapt that and it actually does hurt you, and you don't know how to combat it. For sure. You know what I'm saying? You start to just give in. Yeah, sure. And say, oh, I got to fight for myself. You know what I'm saying? I got to, you know, I got to move in a certain way that gives me acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Gives you acceptance. Yes. Because
you know, I'm assuming for you, so basically your relationship with Jesus was like, you had conviction, but you...
Yeah, like I knew, like you know, you do the right things, like when you're around mom, you know what I'm saying, in church, because you know what to do, and then you go to school, and then you compromise a little bit. Sure, you know what I'm saying.
And what was it about someone suggesting Christian rap to you at the time? What was it about your cultural experience that made that seem like lame or not interesting?
Because I mean, when you compare it to like what the rap that was out at the time, like even like I'll just give you an example. My first MP3, like that my grandmother. So like yeah, I had the MP3s and then I was burning CDs and stuff like young. So my uncle, you know, you ever heard of LimeWire? You ever heard yeah. So we like I learned.
I'm old, bro.
I learned that from him like young. You know what I'm saying? When I was like maybe like 10, 11, whatever. So it gave me a lot of access that I didn't realize that was dangerous for me at the time. But basically,
internet boy.
Yeah, the internet's crazy. But basically, like I got my first MP3 at that time, and my grandmother like loaded it up. She put like Canton Jones on there, and like you know what I'm saying, but
your grandmother loaded you up with the Canton Jones.
Yeah, she loaded me up with Canton. I was like, oh man.
Baby, this gonna bless your heart.
This hits. but you know, it just wasn't like I think the
shout out Canton Jones. By the
way. Canton Jones great. He's a founding father.
No, Canton
like,
for sure.
He's a founding father.
I grew up on
like,
Canton.
Seriously,
yeah.
like he's one of
he really is. But sorry, say more.
Yeah, but yeah. So she loaded me up. And when you compare like the creativeness between the Christian music in the worldly music or whatever, it's like there's nothing to compare. Like they like you. How can I go from listening to Lil Wayne going like it sounds so cool, right? A Billy to Canton Jones, gotta stay safe. like what the heck?
Oh my gosh, that's real though.
Like how can I do that? Like tell me, somebody tell or yup, am I white? To stomp, you know what I'm saying? What like you can't, like you know.
I feel like at that age too, there's no incentive for youth to. It's little incentive. Yeah, it still is. There's still some of that where the culture around you is professing and projecting mainstream media, mainstream music.
Yeah.
So you have to really have a certain conviction or heart for things of the faith to even lean in and give certain things a chance. So I think that's also a part of it too. That I think I've talked to a couple young kids to this day who would be like, well, that junk, even some of our music, like, oh, that junk is lame, or they ain't cool. Yeah. And it's like, then I pull up Lil Tyler, I'm like, is that good too? I don't.
You know the thing
like,
is,
I don't think that's really good, but it's like the culture around it has endorsed it.
Exactly.
And so you're really fighting not a losing battle, but it's like, oh, it's deeper than whether this art is good or not. It's what culture is dominating my worldview, and that's informing what I say is good or not. You know,
exactly.
What I'm saying? You know,
exactly.
So that's the hope. Just to give a little, a little grace to the Christian hip hop artists that was trying their best and killing it. So, but say more. So you sorry, I know I'm hogging all the questions.
No, you're good.
So fast forward, you get to college. Like you are you like tell us about your growing up, going to college. Like, were you like in the scene? Like, were you like walking with the Lord, or was it kind of like still kind of like, you know, I got the conviction, but I'm doing me, you know? What?
Well, in high school, like I was, I'll start off with high school. So high school, like I was, I went to actually a Catholic high school. I went to Blessed Trinity. I don't know if you know what that is.
Okay, I think I'm familiar. Okay.
It's a private school in Roswell.
Okay,
so I was in middle school. I was playing basketball. I played for a lot of different teams, and they wanted me to go there to play sports. So like that's what I did. So I went there, graduated from there, and then and that was a culture shock in itself because it was like I was in a mostly white school and they wanted me to like act a certain type of black, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know
and I was like, that's not me. But like I do like have culture, but I'm not like what you think. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I was fighting that battle too of like trying to like them trying to make me, you know what I'm saying, just conform.
Sure.
So but anyway, so like having that reinforcement along with being consistent, going to my church, which is called World Harvest, it's in Roswell, Georgia. I was like, I wasn't crazy. I just played my sports, listened to the music, and then went about my day. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was like, I would get in trouble at school for like wearing my uniform wrong.
Okay,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like I missed my tie one day. Like we wore a tie and like you know what I'm saying?
You weren't wild. You was
no.
You was yeah.
But I got suspended for that. It was crazy. Like I got suspended from school.
There's things to suspend a kid for.
Right.
Wearing a tie backwards should not be one of them. But that's just my thoughts.
But I did do it in excessive amount of time.
Okay, like, so it was in a form of rebellion for you.
It was bad. It was bad.
I'm not conforming to this school. I refuse. Okay, sorry, keep going.
It is, yeah. So yeah, but the most things I struggled with was like porn, you know, sex stuff. Like as a kid, like
most young men for sure.
You know, so just like being addicted to that a little bit. So that was kind of a thing. And then when I got to college, kind of the same thing.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So just found myself in a lot of unfortunate situations with women and like tried to do the whole drug thing where I was smoking weed and stuff. Didn't work for me. Like I just, you know, I didn't even like it. You know what I'm saying? So but when I was in school, I actually like I went out a little bit, but I didn't really go out that much. I was mostly just like thinking and plotting like how like I wanted my life to be.
For sure.
But I had a few friends that like just like I had a lot of bad situations really in college. Like it actually like was almost traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? So
and fast forward and like after you were like doing the club scene, making money with your girlfriend, you like had a conviction, you took months off, it took 3 months off. Talk about that moment of like the Lord kind of knocking on your door to like starting the Ark. Like what was that? What was that look like? So
in that 3 months at the beginning of 2022, I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do because I just lost my job. I'm like I put like effort in that. I just put 4 years in the club scene. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I put in work in this, you know, got everything like kind of like the access that I wanted. Like we're connected to people like you know who BMF is, you know, but so I know a lot of those people.
Wow,
you know,
you was outside.
Yeah, and it's like in me coming from where I come from, knowing them, it's crazy how you can move in certain circles.
That's like real street culture.
Oh yeah.
Well, you from the suburbs.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing sweet over there, bro.
No. They're serious. Like I literally watched this dude shoot somebody, right? Like because he disrespected one of the people at the club I was at. Like just
you've seen
like I watched the whole thing from so and so said this, and then he walks outside. He said, he's walking outside. Walks outside the club and shoots him in the back. Like I was like, and I'm hosting this party. Like I'm on the mic. Like I'm like, like this is real. This
is your former life. This was your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just was around it, but even from being around it, like you know, what is it? Bad company corrupts good morals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. You know, I started to act like I was that when I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So
that's so. I know. We gotta keep the story going because I feel like it's so much that I want to unpack here. That's like. We'll be right back, y'all. This is the 116 Live Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm here with JD Rivers, Meah Evans. See y'all in a little bit. Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Live Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm here with Meah Evans, JD Rivers, and yo, Meah, in the story, like amazing.
Man, listen, someone needs to write this in a book. No, it's really good. You were talking a little bit offline about just like, I guess, your life before you're tapping into, I guess, the Ark and things like that. Kind of share a little bit that story that you're about to share about.
Yeah. So basically what I was getting into is just like the funny thing about culture is like, obviously culture changes all the time. And what I love about Jesus is Jesus never changed. You know what I'm saying? He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's what it says. So, and it's proven. It's been proven since I was, since I was a child till now. And what we were just talking about was just a situation where I was 21. And I just like made it out, you know what I'm saying? Got my first corporate job, like, where I can actually survive and live off of the money that I'm making, 401k, all that kind of stuff, And I decided to like roommate with people that were my age, And when I started roommating with them, I was still like trying to like figure out how I can build wealth. My mindset was good. And I was eating oatmeal. I was just trying to like save money, doing that whole thing. And when I was doing that, I got made fun of by my roommates. And because I wasn't like drinking or hanging out with them at first, I was ostracized, and they made me, think that I was like acting like I was better, but I was really just trying to like keep going, Sure. And it wasn't even about Christ. I was just trying to do better. You know what I'm saying? So, but in that time, because it just became like such a push, I fell into like trying to impress. When they were saying like, oh, I couldn't bring girls back to the house, or I couldn't do this, or like, oh, why aren't you smoking with us? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're lame, this, that, and the third. And it just got so annoying that I was just like, man, forget it. Why not? You
gave in?
Yeah, I gave in. And I just like, what I realized, I ran myself into the ground, with it. Started like trying to run up the score and bring the most girls in the house, smoke the most weed, drink the most alcohol, And by the end, and the funny thing is, by the end of me living there, like I noticed that they were trying to do the same things I was doing when I first moved in. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to save money. They're trying to not smoke weed. They're trying to not, do like a bunch of girls, like be solid with like one girl. And I was like, dang. So they wanted me to fall, and then, you know what I'm saying?
The trick of the enemy.
Exactly.
He sets a nice little trap.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I see what you want. Come join the party. And then once the party gets overwhelming, you kind of left looking like, dang, what was it for?
Exactly.
And so talk about, you took those 3 months off, you're trying to get right. Like what, that moment of like, man, this ain't the life for me. I mean, you seen people getting shot, you hosting parties, you at strip clubs, you the man in Atlanta essentially.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say I was okay. I was all right. Hey, all my promoter friends, like, look, like I know people, like, I'm okay.
You gave all that up.
Yeah.
Well, you lost the opportunity. Something happened, right? You lost.
Yeah, so when I was I would like to say I just walked away, but it was really I fell asleep at one of my jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then you got fired.
Yeah.
But that started you to change directions.
Yeah, that started me to be more serious about it. I was like already like pushing myself out, pulling. So it wasn't there I was supposed to be there anyways. You know what I mean? But yeah, that started the seriousness of it. And so in 2022, I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not playing. Like, if they call me about working at these clubs, I'm saying no. You know what I'm saying? And I got tested over and over and over again. you know?
In what ways? Like people come
saying like, hey, can you do my my brunch? Hey, can you do my pool
and they
party?
offering money.
Oh, offering money every single time.
What kind of conviction was the Holy Spirit prompting in you to say no to that? What? It
was terrible because cause I was like no, but but the worst part about it was like I was starting to feel bad, like I was doing something wrong, like for a second, because they were like, yo, like what? You were just doing this, like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you not? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, it just doesn't sit with me anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's just not what I'm on anymore. You know, and I didn't really know how to explain. I wasn't confident in explaining to him at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Why weren't you confident?
Because like it was still new for me. and I wanted to be solid in Christ, you know, like before I started really standing on it. You know what I'm saying?
That's admirable. That's kind of why.
So I want to ask this. So, because I was hearing about how when you got the idea for the Ark, and you know, at this point, like you in Christ, you know, like you know what I'm saying, and then people weren't rocking with you.
Oh
you
yeah,
know, when it came to Christians rocking with you.
Yes.
So I want to talk about even the tension of that. People from like, you know, your old life hitting you up, things like that. You finally get confident in God and where you at. And then now you got to do with your brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, except for you, I think your pastor was the only one who was really like rocking with you.
Yeah.
Talk about what that felt like. Cause I feel like we always expect to get the support of, you know, believers and things like that. But then that wasn't the case. So can you speak on that? That's what you walking through that time of just trying to be solid in what you're doing, but without the support of, you know, the Christian community?
So just to give a quick shout out to my pastor, like that's like I'm still getting discipled by him right now. So this is my second year of doing that. So with that, like I came back to the church in April of 2022. And I tried to do other churches and everything. It just wasn't flowing right. And I felt like God was telling me, because I was hearing him clear. Like he was like, yo, go back home. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, where, like, what are you talking about? He's like, your home church, like what you grew. Like, I was like, okay. So I went back to my home church. First day I walk in, he's like, yo, Jordan, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, and called me out like in the middle of the service. Like it was crazy. And prayed for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was awesome. And it felt like a prodigal son like type moment, which was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got to see him really live the word in real time, you know? So so with that being said, you know, I'm just trying to figure out how I can advance the kingdom with my testimony. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't know anything. I don't know who's who. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to use my gifts to glorify the kingdom, you know? So, and what God told me was like I said, he said, use your gifts, use your testimony. So the closest, most recent thing in my testimony that I did was the club scene. Like that was it. Like I was just trying to go back in order. Like I used to do the clubs. I used to work for Comcast. I used to be in high school at a white school, private school, playing football, basketball. I used to, you know, play, you know, middle school, like, you know what I'm saying? Used to be insecure, like all those things. So I'm just trying to like go in order of my testimony. So that's the most like discouraging thing too, because when people didn't walk in your shoes or your life, you know, they don't understand why you're using your gifts for God in this way. You know what I'm saying? And they try to like put their box on it. But as long as I'm aligned with the word, it doesn't really matter what you say, you know?
1,000. That's why I think it's so important to share the depths of your story through this conversation, because I think people hear the word Christian club. Like they get, you know what I'm saying? Like, they lose it. But how can you hear this story? I mean, how can anyone hear this story and not be overjoyed with what you're building? It's like, yeah, why not? Of course. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like, I think why it's important for that story to be told. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious only because I just think that even with your church family and you wanting that support, how did you move past that genuinely? Just because I feel like you can grow, because of course, aside from the support from your pastor, like a person could grow bitter, you know, like cold-hearted, like you already said, discouraged. How was it walking past that to even like where you are today, as far as even with people, not even just people who in your church who felt a certain way, but even people in comments and people who say things about the Christian club scene, so on and so forth?
Well, the first thing that I'd never done before until like that year, what I find that's important is I think that a lot of people don't spend enough time alone with Christ. You know what I'm saying? So like when you get introduced to Christ, like you're getting right tapped into church home potentially, you know, or trying to get linked up with groups or whatever the case is, but it's not your own relationship. So you don't build that strength and the confidence in the word. Because when you see Christ act in your life by yourself, alone, You know what I'm saying? You see his face.
Yeah.
No one can tell you anything. So that's what I leaned on when I went back to church, because like I told you, I had that 3 months. I was reading the word. You know what I'm saying? I was watching YouTube videos. I was reading the word. I was actually seeing these principles applied in real time. There was days where like, and even more now, like I don't even have that much time, but there was days where I literally was like, God, what do you want to do today? And I felt like Jesus, like walking around, like having 5-hour conversations with people and praying for people, and them saying that I said something that they were actually like, you know, like worried about, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just having situations where like, I'm trying to live out what the word says, like, and giving to the homeless, and you know, and being there for people. You know what I'm saying? My family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I just got on a tangent. My bad. But
it's pouring out of you, because I think it's in you, man.
Yeah.
Your desire for the kingdom growth, and it seems so sincere and genuine, man. So we just want to publicly acknowledge anybody hating on a Christian club. I understand like the context of that may be weird for some people, but y'all don't understand, like, this is necessary, man, to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and
you gotta speak, we gotta speak the language. Like you don't fight the spirit with the, you know, like, you know, I don't even know what to say. You don't fight the spirit with flesh, you fight with the spirit.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So the spirit and the principality over Atlanta is clubs. You know what I'm saying? Is nightlife. Wow. So if I call something a Christian club, I'm fighting that spirit. And that's why people get all, you know what I'm saying? Because like, oh my gosh, my spirit. Because I'm literally going right at it, you know, like aggressively. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Like in wrecking your whole mind on what you think it's supposed to be. Because the word club, when you look up the word club, it does not mean naked women and you know, drugs, sex, alcohol. Club does not say that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
That's great. That's so good.
Before we wrap, one thing that stuck out to me that you said was that you had your confidence. You kind of lacked that when you were like, you know, in your younger years, and you don't see that at all today. Not even just from your relationship with God, and even in what you do, but just in who you are. Of course, God being the overarching, the arc of your confidence. Looking back now, what would you say is the huge difference you see in your confidence now, opposed to what you may have been lacking then?
It's only because, like, you know, like now that I've had, you know, alone time with God, you know, discipleship, and understand that the Bible is a mirror, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at it, you should be able to see your flaws and see the things that you're doing right. So the confidence comes through the word, you know what I'm saying? And understanding like this actually works. Like you actually apply it, it actually works, and you'll actually be all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good, man. Listen, for people who want to be tapped in, who are in Atlanta, where can they learn more about the Ark? Where can they be tapped in? Like, let everybody know like more information on how they can be plugged in with the Ark.
So right now, I mostly post on Instagram, and that's really it. We got a TikTok, but I don't really have much on there. But you know, that's about to get banned anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that's what they say at least. I don't know, but yeah, the Ark ATL, the Ark.ATL on Instagram, and just ask around, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, honestly, if you're really plugged into the Christian scene here, you're gonna hear about it. I can't tell you how many times I've heard about it. And bro, we're so happy that you're fully confident, standing 10 toes down in what you're doing, because it's so essential. I've heard so many stories of people talking about how great the Ark is, and we hope that people who are tapped in be able to tap into what JD's got going on with the Ark. But listen, man, that wraps another episode here of the 116 Life, man. Shout out to JD for being our guest this week, and you know, go ahead.
Oh, you mind if I do some quick shout outs?
No,
quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that
Absolutely.
cool? Yeah,
run it, yeah.
So another thing too, I want to shout out my dog Terry. He actually owns the spot that I do the parties at.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he had like no one would even accept me doing a Christian event at a spot like the one I do it at, you know, because they were concerned about alcohol sales and just different stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't do that at my event, so I appreciate him. Also, I want to shout out to Alex Jean. We met like at the beginning of what was it? The beginning, the August of 2022. and just like his support in the vision, not even really knowing what it was like, because he didn't grow up the way I grew up. So like just his support and showing up for me the first time was crazy. DKG Kai, my girl that does my flyers, marketing, her name's Brina. She does God is a Vibe. It's a like a media platform. And then also Bryce G. He was my first DJ that I had. And the reason why I chose him was because he was the only person on the internet that I saw that was explicitly committed to Christian music only. So like a lot of times people ask me like, why do you like, what kind of music you play there? I'm like, it's Christian club. I feel like it's obvious, but like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I understand, because a lot of people compromise, you know? So I wanted someone that explicitly did not compromise and wanted to uplift Christian music. So Bryce G was the only DJ that I saw personally that was committed to that. And he's doing great now. And after the third event, we kind of separated. He started a Christian club in Orlando. Which he's doing pretty good social wise, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy for him. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, man. Everyone plays a part. Everyone plays a part for sure, man. Listen, that wraps another episode here of the 116 Life on the Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, shout out to Matt, who holds the operation down every single time for us. JD, Ace, Meah, we're signing off. We'll see you guys next week.